change of plan. And this is where our black soldier flies were. We're just going to use this as our worm bin. Okay, so let me show you a couple of things here. Here's some worms that you've seen me fish with recently. This is what I got from the bait shop. You get something like that, okay? Not bad at all. Get one of these guys that I got from Worm Dude. Now, that's what you get from wormdude.com. Sorry. Covington Worm Dude. You see they're very similar, but it's pretty obvious to me that the Worm Dude has significantly more girth. Farm bag, let's put these guys in. Well, they head to the hills here. Look at there. These are all those worms there. Look at all those worms. They are huge, humongozoidal worms. You can see, just put it into the fresh peat moss there. This is just 2 pounds worth of worms. Very big worms, right? This looks like more like coconut coir than it does peat moss, but it may be a little bit of peat moss. I was going to take these guys and put them in here, but I don't think I'm going to mix them. This guy has a superior breed, obviously. Now, that's one that's a little younger. But my goodness, that's just 2 pounds worth of worms. This is going to be our breed stock here, guys. All this sunlight, they're just headed for the hills. So that's what I want them to do, is burrow down in there. And there's plenty for them there to eat. There's plenty of moist environment there for them. They tend to live in a little bit more moist environment. They look a lot healthier than the ones you get out of the bait shops. We'll fish these guys on out, and we may end up just continuing to buy some worms until these guys get established the way I want. They're home. The worms are in. The worms are in. So you want some of these, either check out wormdude.com or check out redwormcomposting.com. I recommend the European Nightcrawler. And I got a book inside. If you want a good book to learn how to raise these worms, I recommend this one. It's called The Worm Book. What is this? Lauren Nancaro and Janet Hogan Taylor. Nancaro, I guess that's how you spell it. And this is a fairly old book, man. I don't even know if it's in print anymore. Honestly, I bought it back in 98. Yeah, about 98. I didn't buy it in 98. It was written in 98. I probably bought it 10 years ago. I've had it 10 years. I'll just read a little table of contents. Why do we need worms? What is a worm? You know, how to get started, maintaining a worm bin, problems with the worm bin, you know, troubleshooting other animals found in a worm bin like ants, centipedes, flies, grubs, all that kind of thing. Vermicomposting, castings, earthworms in agriculture, commercial worm growing, and the whole worm, nothing but the worm, yeah, the various poetries and things like that, cooking with earthworms, which, that's starting to get out there. It shows you how to make worm bins out of wood, gives you a variety of worms that you can use, stackable worm bins, feeding rates, those sorts of things, animal feeds, all kinds of things, and a complete guide to gardening and composting with worms. Well, I'm using the worms for fishing, but the worms don't really care that they're being used for gardening or composting or fishing. They're just doing whatever they do, and you can just use them for whatever you want. And I've raised European Nightcrawlers before. They are my preferred worm. In fact, whenever you buy red worms, they're really European Nightcrawlers. They're not actually red wigglers anymore, because red wigglers are really just not. I'd much rather raise European Nightcrawlers. They're not a true soil worm, which a lot of people don't know. It's not a nightcrawler like a Canadian nightcrawler that's burrowing down in the soil. These worms are composting worms. They're bigger. They don't reproduce as quickly as red wigglers, but they have a good balance when it comes to having to, deal with a variety of temperature ranges. They're about the same length as a red wiggler, but about twice, 2-3 times the thickness of a red wiggler. You'll probably find a copy on Amazon if it's still in print. Go get you some.